What's up, Steelers Nation? Welcome back to the channel where we're always grinding to bring you the most up-to-date, passionate, and honest news about your Pittsburgh Steelers. The team is working non-stop to perfect this roster and bring that Lombardi trophy back to the Steel City. And we're here for every twist and turn. So before we dive into today's spicy double feature, do me a huge favor. Smash that like button and hit that subscribe if you haven't already. It helps the channel grow and lets me know you're riding with us, win or lose. All right, now buckle up because today we've got two absolute bombshells for you. First, Kirk Cousins' name is back in the rumor mill, and the Steelers are right at the center of it. And second, we've got an update on the team's contract plans for none other than TJ Watt. You're not going to want to miss this. Let's get into the quarterback chaos first, with the entire Steelers fan base still holding their breath on Aaron Rodgers' final decision, now expected to come before OTAs on May 27th, another veteran QB's name is suddenly making waves again. Yep, it's Kirk Cousins. Now I know some of you just cringed, but let's talk facts. ESPN insider Peter Schrager dropped a major nugget on the Pat McAfee show, saying that Kirk Cousins' name came up multiple times during the NFL draft, and that if Rodgers slips through Pittsburgh's fingers, Cousins could be the next big swing. Schrager explained it like this, and I'm paraphrasing here: if there's a seat on the quarterback carousel still open, it's Pittsburgh. And guess what? Cousins is still a starting caliber QB, even if Atlanta wants to pretend otherwise. They're currently paying him a boatload of money to potentially ride the bench behind rookie Michael Penix Jr. Think about that for a second. Cousins has a $10 million roster bonus locked in for 2026, and if the Falcons traded him post-June 1st, they'd take on a massive $37.5 million dead cap hit. Unless they feel that Penix is ready and they want to cut bait now while Cousins still has value. So how does Pittsburgh fit into this? Well, for one, we've got a glaring QB need if Rodgers doesn't come. Mason Rudolph is solid, but let's be honest, he's a backup. Will Howard is promising but raw, and Cousins, despite coming off that Achilles tear in 2023, is a proven leader who can still sling it. Plus, there's some smoke behind the scenes. Arthur Smith, now the Steelers' offensive coordinator, was Cousins' former head coach's rival in Atlanta. There's familiarity, and Mike Tomlin is tight with Falcons head coach Raheem Morris, going all the way back to their Tampa Bay days. That kind of relationship matters when trades get messy. Add it all up, and Cousins starts to make sense as Plan B if Rodgers says no. The only hurdle? Cousins has a no-trade clause. He'd have to want Pittsburgh. But if you're a 36-year-old vet looking for one last shot at glory, wouldn't you want to play in a system you know with a franchise known for stability, defense, and winning culture? Just some food for thought, Steelers Nation. All right. Let's shift gears now to something just as crucial, maybe even more important: TJ Watt's future. Look, Watt isn't just a player. He's the soul of this defense. The guy leads by example, brings the fire every Sunday, and he's been the cornerstone of our pass rush for years. But here's the problem. His contract is creeping toward its end. Now don't panic yet. Steelers insider Mike DeFabo from The Athletic recently gave us a peek behind the curtain and shared his gut feeling on how this could play out. According to DeFabo, we should expect a new Watt extension after the final preseason game, but before the regular season kicks off. And Steelers fans, that makes total sense. If we rewind to 2024, that's exactly how Omar Khan handled extensions for guys like Pat Freiermuth and Cam Hayward. Freiermuth got a 4-year, $48.4 million extension on September 6th. Hayward locked in a 3-year, $45 million deal just days earlier on September 3rd. Why the wait? Well, it lets the front office fully evaluate the cap situation after roster cuts and injuries, while also giving players the assurance they're not heading into the season with contract uncertainty. But there's a twist. TJ Watt is going to command top dollar. Why? Because just a few weeks ago, Myles Garrett, that guy from Cleveland, signed a monster deal that made him the highest-paid defender in the league. You think TJ Watt's agent didn't see that? There's no doubt Watt will want something similar, if not bigger, especially with the salary cap continuing to rise year after year. The The Steelers can afford it right now, but it'll be tight. We've already committed 5 years and $150 million to DK Metcalf. We're still possibly negotiating with Aaron Rodgers. And any move for Cousins won't come cheap either. At some point, the Steelers have to draw the line and decide who the true core of this team is. TJ Watt better be at the top of that list, because when Watt is healthy, this defense is top 5 in the league. When he's not, we all feel it. So, in case you somehow missed it, the Pittsburgh Steelers officially traded wide receiver George Pickens to the Dallas Cowboys on Wednesday. And just like that, one of the most electrifying yet controversial players on the roster is gone. Now, this wasn't totally unexpected. Pickens was entering the final year of his rookie deal, and contract extension talks were ice cold. Rumors had been swirling for months that the Steelers might try to move him instead of locking him down long term, and now we know they pulled the trigger. But the big question on everyone's mind was, why? Why would the Steelers trade away their leading receiver from the 2024 season? A guy with elite hands, insane body control, and highlight reel catches. The answer? According to multiple sources and insiders, it wasn't the talent. It was the behavior. On Saturday, head coach Mike Tomlin finally addressed the situation publicly. Now, if you know Coach T, you know he chooses his words carefully. And when he was asked directly about trading Pickens, he didn't offer much detail. Here's exactly what Tomlin said. I'm not going to add any color to it other than what Omar told you guys yesterday. We thought it was best and timely for all parties involved. Really, I'm just focused on the opportunity that is this weekend for the rookies. That's it. Short, blunt, classic Tomlin. But on Friday, Steelers GM Omar Khan gave a little more insight. He admitted that while the Steelers and Pickens had a good relationship for a few years, things had run their course. A fresh start was best for both sides, Khan said. He also touched on something Steelers fans have noticed, a pattern. The team has had some tough luck with wide receivers lately. High potential but off-the-field issues. Chase Claypool, Deontay Johnson, Antonio Brown, and now Pickens. Khan called it a coincidence. But fans, we're starting to see a trend. So let's get real for a second. We all saw the signs. The tantrums on the sideline, the missed media availabilities, the visible frustration during games when the ball didn't come his way. Coaches and teammates constantly had to answer for him, while Pickens himself stayed silent. Sources close to the team say there was growing frustration inside the locker room. Veterans were tired of the drama. And in an organization that prides itself on professionalism, that doesn't fly. This isn't Madden. This is the NFL. To build a winning team, you need a winning culture. And while Pickens flashed brilliance on the field behind the scenes, he failed to grow up, failed to mature, failed to take accountability. So the Steelers moved on. And what's really telling? Even other NFL teams weren't biting. According to a report from The Athletic, several teams were polled anonymously and said they wouldn't take George Pickens for any price. That's a huge red flag. If a player is that talented and still draws no interest, that says a lot. Now let's talk about what this means for the Steelers' offense moving forward. Because here's the thing. This didn't come out of nowhere. Back in March, the Steelers made one of the biggest moves of the offseason, landing star wideout DK Metcalf in a trade that sent shockwaves across the league. At the time, fans were salivating at the idea of a DK Pickens duo. But in hindsight, that move might have been the writing on the wall. The Steelers knew they weren't extending Pickens. DK was the replacement all along. So what's the plan now? Metcalf is the clear-cut WR1. He's a beast, a leader, a guy who brings intensity without the baggage. And behind him, all eyes are now on Roman Wilson, the rookie out of Michigan. Wilson dealt with some nasty injuries in 2024, but according to multiple insiders, he's healthy now and turning heads at rookie minicamp. Coaches love his work ethic, route running, and toughness. If Wilson breaks out and Metcalf plays to his potential, Suddenly, this receiving core starts to look real dangerous, even without Pickens. So, Steelers Nation, I've got to hear from you now. Let's break it down in the comments. Would you be open to trading for Kirk Cousins if Aaron Rodgers passes on Pittsburgh? Is he the next best option? Or would you rather roll with Mason Rudolph and see what Will Howard can do? And when it comes to TJ Watt, how much would you be willing to pay to keep our defensive MVP in black and gold for years to come? Sound. Off below, I'm reading every single one of your takes. And don't forget, smash that like button if you want more exclusive Steelers content like this. Hit subscribe and turn on notifications so you never miss a video. We've got more big updates coming as we approach minicamp and training camp. Whether it's Rodgers, Cousins, Watt, or someone completely unexpected, we've got it all covered right here. Thanks for watching, and as always, here we go, Steelers. Here we go.